Hi everyone, welcome to Border Tanks with stewiejp. I'm Stewie, and here's a couple of replays sent to me by my old mate Flying Elite. Flying Elite is running around in his Type 62. Type 62 is a premium Chinese light tank. I've got one of these, but I haven't played that many games on it, and he's on a mission here. Light tank number 12 mission to spot enemy vehicles, enable your allies to call at least 3,000 hit points are damaged, and to remain unspotted when that damage has occurred. Now he knows he hasn't been lit yet. His sixth sense hasn't been off, hasn't gone off, and it looks like he's just spotted that VK3601H. He's probably spotted the Bulldog as well, but he's doing the right thing. He's refraining from firing because he is on this mission, and he obviously doesn't want to get lit. Sometimes it can be very hard to resist the temptation not to get lit. Picks up some more spotting damage on that Leopard. Spotting damage now up to nearly 1,000. Now on Malinovka, you can see he's in this little bush here, and this isn't a bad place to do a little bit of spotting from, and I reckon he's probably going to start creeping up at some stage. Now, I reiterate, this mission is to spot 3,000 hit points of damage, but he's not allowed to be spotted when that damage occurs. That Bulldog, looks like the Bulldog might be trying to YOLO him, trying to outspot him maybe. But if I know the Flying Elite, he's probably got a pretty good crew in this tank. And good crew means good camouflage and good crew skills and all that kind of stuff. Picks up some more spotting damage. Spotting damage now up to 1337, and we know he hasn't been lit yet, so we can just sit here and rake in that spotting damage and try and get this mission done. And I'm pretty sure this mission's for the Object 260, the final bunch of missions in the personal missions event that Wargaming started probably a couple of years ago now. At Bulldog running away, running for the hills now, but he knows that T71 and that PZ58 Mutts, who were last spotted around this area, that Mutts hasn't got a bad view range at all, so he could be, he wants to keep refraining from shooting and wants to continue to pick up that spotting damage. He might have a shot at that VK. Let's see if he does. VK only on 52 health, but is it worth revealing your position? By shooting, that's always the conundrum, if you like, when you're in a light tank and you're in a forward spotting position. You're lighting up all these tanks for your platoon mates and your teammates, and you really don't want to die early. We've all done it. We've all taken a punt and put a shot into an enemy tank. Still not spotted by that PZ58 Mutts, who's going through the water. Of course, Flying Elite does have shots into the side of the Tier 8 German medium tank, but he knows if he shoots, he'll most certainly be lit up, and then he'll be in a world of bother. He's already picked up 1586, so he's just over the halfway mark for the amount of spotting damage he needs to do whilst remaining unspotted. Could probably afford to move forward a little bit here, but always better off staying a little bit cautious when you're in a light tank. Of course, it's a Tier 8 game here, so he's pretty much top tier in a Tier 7 light tank. By pretty much top tier, I mean that the Tier 8 tanks on the enemy side, he can comfortably shoot and damage. In his Tier 7 premium Chinese light tank, the Type 62. As I said earlier, it's a tank I've got, but I haven't had too many games in it, but I did enjoy playing them. I do like playing light tanks. You need to be a little bit conservative when you play them, though. 3-1's the score. He's done half of his required hit points of spotting damage. Now, in this mission, you can be lit, but you just can't be lit when the spotting damage occurs. Tiger 2 gets taken out, and finally that Hummel gets rid of that VK3601. That's that tank that was on about 40 or 50 odd hit points. It looks like the enemy tanks that were sort of camping along here or using these buildings for cover, they might have pulled back a bit now because they're no longer lit. But Flying Elite spots the other Mutts, puts a shot into him, and now he knows that he can shoot pretty much freely. He didn't get lit there. And pretty sure in these missions, any damage that you do also counts towards the mission total. Again, as long as you're not spotted. Moves forward into another bush. Now, I think if he shoots this much, he's probably going to get lit because he doesn't have a secondary bush to cover from. But 5-2's the score, so he doesn't really need to be too aggressive. The guys who were, or the players who are on the hill, looks like they've won the hill, but that Mutz is really being a pain in the arse towards the T44. His platoon mate, stewiejp from PB Clan. They lose a couple of tanks here, and he also picks up a little bit of spotting damage. And the T71's getting very close. He's pretty sure he's going to get spotted pretty soon. But it'd be nice if some of these snipers at the back took that T71 out of the game just to help the Flying Elite remain unspotted. He is quite close to him, and he knows now that if he shoots he'll most certainly be there. But it looks like the T71's running away, and he just picked up another 200 hit points of spotting damage, which brings his spotting damage up to just over 2,000. So he's just about there. He still hasn't been lit in this game, I don't think. I saw the 6 cents go off. But those tanks that were engaging that Mutz tank, the forward Mutz tank, the one near the T44, most of them have backed right off because the Mutz is in a pretty good position there. And I think you'll see when that Mutz gets down a little bit more in health, you might see the Flying Elite have a red hot go at him and try and out DPM him. The Mutz, of course, is a tier 8 premium German tank, and it is it's a very nice tank to play, I must say. I really enjoy it. 5-4 is the score. 2,222 hit points of spotting damage, plus 180 damage that he's done for himself. Oh, it's the T3485, calling everyone a pack of noobs, which is not unusual. It's easy to call people noobs from back here at the spawn, I suppose. He would have had no idea what was happening up here where those tanks were killed. They really need to focus on these two premium German medium tanks. They're the tanks that have sort of helped their team advance, and they've gotten quite aggressive and done it quite well. They've only picked up 1 kill between them, but I'm sure they would have picked up a lot of spotting damage and damage themselves in this game. Artillery takes the Mutz out, giving the Flying Elite another 570 odd spotting damage, bringing his total up to 2,733. So he's just about got this mission. One more big shell will get it for him. But with only 880 hit points in the Tier 7 Chinese light tank, you really can't afford to go and brawl with that Mutz. T3485 finally grows a pair of balls and starts moving forward. And what's he doing? Is he going for the drown? No, he's going straight through the water. Flying Elite looking for some cheeky shots. He's probably pretty confident he could probably shoot soon. That T3485 is being an absolute plonker, but he needs to help him. He does get lit now, puts a couple of shots into the PZ58 Mutz, and now that T3485 is going to move back. Gets a shot into the Scorpion. Takes a little bit of damage for his trouble though, and Flying Elite trying to maintain a little bit of camo rating. Takes out the Scorpion G. T3485 gets killed, and let's see if he starts blaming everybody else in the chat like he did before. You never know. You do get a little bit of that on the Asian server. Now that PZ58 Mutz is now down to pretty low health, but so's stewiejp at his T44. stewiejp really needs to stay alive in this because he's one of only 2 top tier tanks left in the game, not counting the artillery. And looks like the T26E5 is quite happy just to camp the H1 line, and as predicted, that T3485 is going to criticise everybody. Hopefully he goes back to the garage and just gets on with it. 8-6 is the score. 2,733 spotting damage, 777 damage done by the Flying Elite. I reckon 2 more shots might be enough to get rid of this Mutz tank. He gets 1 shot into his side, gets lit, takes a shot, but picks up the kill, and I reckon that was the deciding move in working out who's going to win this game. That Mutz was really lighting everyone up and getting cheeky shots into all those friendly tanks, including Storm Jaeger and his T-44. And with the score on 10-7, it's time for the Flying Elite to get a little bit aggressive without trying to give his position away. Picks up another 638 spotting damage on the Tiger. Didn't get lit, so that tells me that he's already completed that 3,000 spotting damage while unlit mission for the Object 260. Now, looks like that Hummel. Has that Hummel gone for the water? He has. Good on you, Hummel. Susinko too. You are an absolute plonker. The auto aims at the IKV 65-2. Puts a shot into the side of the Swedish tank destroyer. Puts another shot into him. Didn't see how much damage, but he looks like he's pretty much down to a one. Oh, he's down to 200 health. Probably one or two more shots. Sturm Jaeger will probably do his job there, and he does. Sturm Jaeger picks up a kill. Flying Elite's on 2 kills. 1,225 hit points of damage, but also, more importantly, 3,371 spotting as he spots and puts some damage into the GW Tiger P. He gets lit in the process, so he must be lit from that corner. Where somebody else was pinging and he's looking for the last tank on the team, which is the M12. And he needs to survive and win this battle to win this, get this mission with honours. Puts a shot into him, but the Hellcat takes the M12 out of the game, and in the end a pretty comfortable win, 15-8, even though at the early stages it was looking like it was looking a little bit dicey. That's for sure. But have a very quick look at the post-game battle results. He picked up an Ace Tanker Mastery Badge in his Type 62 for his efforts. Spotted damage and fire for effect. He did light quite a few enemy tanks, as you can see on the right-hand side of the scoreboard. And on the second page of the post-game battle result, Flying Elite topped the scoreboard with 1323 base experience, 1,617 damage done, and 3,600 exactly spotting damage. That was enough for an Ace Tanker Mastery Badge, and being a premium tank, it's going to rake the credits in 81,689 credits. Bottom line on Malinovka in the Type 62 as we move on to game number 2 in this double shot from the Flying Elite featuring the Chinese Tier 7 light tank, the Type 62. Now in this replay, it's a Tier 8 battle, which isn't too bad for the Type 62, and in this one is trying to do another mission, which is to cause damage to enemy vehicles at least 6 times and spot at least 7 enemy vehicles. So let's see how he goes. And the secondary condition is to get 4 kills. In this replay, he's platooned up with his old mate Sturm Jaeger again. This time Sturm Jaeger's in the AMX CDC, and the random dude from 1AR clan in his STA2. He's on Fiery Salient, and he's doing the right thing in a light tank. He's going to get some nice early spots in the middle of the map and see how many tanks he can light up. I'm not sure. He spotted 3 of those tanks, and now he needs to get out of there and make sure he doesn't get killed in the process. So he needs to initially spot 7 tanks and then just do 6 damaging shots. Now this isn't a bad little position here at all. This is a position where you can spot the heavy tanks going towards the hill, and that's what he's going to be hoping to do. There is a bush just about here that I love to sit in a light tank on this map, and you always spot whoever it is that comes up towards this hill. But this bush will probably do the same thing. A number of tanks not yet spotted on the enemy side. The 112. A couple of TDs, a light tank, and some of the low tier medium tanks have not been spotted yet. As a Flying Elite sits in this bush and hopes to outvision whatever enemy tanks push up towards the 9-0 line, towards the hill, which often is where you see the heavy tanks do their business on Fiery Salient. Sturm Jaeger in his AMX CDC picks up the first kill of the game, getting rid of the Tier 5 light tank, the Leopard, which is a pretty fun tank to play, but I think if you're in a Tier 5 light tank and you get a Tier 8 game, all you should be doing is trying to spot for your team. Bit of a slow start in this game. 1-0 is the score. Flying Elite really hasn't done too much yet. Those tanks that are up on the hill are pinging like crazy. They want to be able to snipe something. That's what they all do when they sit up on that hill on fiery salient. Nobody wants to scratch their tank. As a Flying Elite moves forward through somebody's garden there and just looking for some spots on the enemy team. Spots the 112, so that's probably the 4th or the 5th tank that he's spotted. Picks up a little bit of spotting damage on the Chinese premium heavy tank. And of course, even though in this mission he needs to spot 7 enemy vehicles, he could probably, if he gets nice and aggressive towards the end of the game, he could rely on spotting two enemy tanks, being the 2 artilleries at the end. Of course, if he gets up to the enemy base before all of his mates does. But we know he's already spotted at least 5, possibly 6, and now he's just letting his teammates snipe away at that 112. And the Flying Elite letting these other tanks know, if you go over the hill, you'll be able to do a lot more damage than just sitting back there hoping that something appears. The STA-2 gets lit. I don't think the Flying Elite spotted that tank though. That would have been that other medium tank that's going forward, the Skoda. Of course, that Skoda will be feeling a bit nervous coming up against a Tier 8 medium. He'll be hoping that his teammates support him in some way, but it looks like the rest of his teammates are content just to sit back and snipe, even though they're top tier heavy tanks. The AMX M449 and the 112, they really don't want to scratch their tanks. As the Flying Elite spots the STEWYR WT, the Steyr Waffelträger, the premium Tier 7 German heavy tank, puts a couple of shots into him, also picks up some spotting damage, and I reckon that's, along with that KV2, that's possibly, or the Panther at the back, that's possibly the 7 tanks spotted that is needed for this mission. So now he can go on and pick up some more spotting damage and also put some shells into the enemy tanks. Bounces the Panther, the Tier 7 German medium tank, and with the score on 4-3, his team's not looking too bad. Puts another shot into the Panther. Doesn't look like he gets lit in the process. There's the enemy artillery, and of course when you're a light tank and you see an enemy artillery, your eyes light up, don't they? You just want to absolutely demolish them. The 112 snipes out the artillery from the hill, and now finally the 112 has found first gear in his tank, and he's moving forward to try and help that AMX M449 premium French heavy tank get rid of that STA. Flying Elite spots and damages the Hummel, and his platoon mate, the random dude, sends him back to the garage. Looks like the STA-2's tracked, and he puts a shot into him, narrowly missing the premium French tank. And now, as the enemy are approaching his cap, the Flying Elite trying to get some spots on this KV2 that was last spotted up at A6, and it could be absolutely anywhere. Shoots and kills the Pershing, bringing the scoreboard up to 9-4. It's just a 1375 on the green flag at the bottom of the map. But with a minute and 15 seconds to go before he can cap it out, there's a pretty good chance somebody will get back there. Hopefully somebody does. He's still lit. Looks like he's being lit by the Crusader. Jackson on the hill gets taken out as the Flying Elite moves forward up to probably where he thinks the KV2 might be. With all these tanks along the railway line, if the KV2 had gone forward, he would have been spotted by now. So you'd imagine maybe the KV2's gone up this northwestern corner. Flying Elite picking the flag, trying to encourage his teammates to reset it, and it looks like that AMX 1375's run away from the open cap circle Of course, that's the big danger of capping. If you get lit while you're on the cap circle, there's a very good chance you'll get taken out by the enemy team. As a Flying Elite puts a shot into the GETONBOARDSTEWIEJP Panzer, another Tier 8 German tank destroyer. After the success of the Scorpion, I think Wargaming thought, let's bring out another Tier 8 German TD. Flying Elite putting shots into the KV-2 without getting too worried about being killed. Of course, the KV-2 would take forever to aim at where the Flying Elite was. So Flying Elite picks up the kill, and with the score on 13-8, it's time to do a bit of circle jerk around these last remaining tanks. The random dude picks up the kill on the GETONBOARDSTEWIEJP Panzer, and now it's snipe time. The T-34-85 only on 428 health. Now he's down to 26. Flying Elite picks up the spotting damage, and he's hoping for the kill, but he looks like he's just a little bit too low in those undulations. Someone will snipe him out, you'd imagine. Puts a blind shot towards him. Now he's loading high explosive to try and pick up the kill on the Tier 6 Russian medium tank. 1480 is the score, 1375 hit points of damage, nearly 3000 spotting damage. Auto aims, shoots and kills, picks up the last kill of the game for kill number 3, which is always a pretty good feeling. As we have another look at the post-game battle results. He's picked up his mission. He told me he's picked up his mission. Ace Tanker Mastery Badge, Spotter, Bruiser, Fire for Effect and Patrol Duty. And he spotted 7 tanks in the end. The Hummel, the Krupp Steyr, the Panther, the M12, the 112, the T-34-85 and of course that KV-2 who was panicking a bit in the end. An Ace Tanker Mastery Badge because nearly 1400 hit points of damage, nearly 3000 spotting damage, and look at the credits, 113,131 credits. Bottom line, in a premium account, that's the Type 62. Thanks to the replays, Flying Elite, and well done on completing some more missions towards that Object 260. Thanks for watching, everyone. Take care, and see you all next time.